it's Brock here with Rock Hill Farms, and I'm out here today with Hood's Custom Shop looking at his Woodland Mills HM130. He just put on a good demonstration. I've got a bunch of footage, I'll roll of that, but I was hoping you could tell us a little bit about what you do, what your YouTube channel is, and what your main business is that you do with the sawmill.
Okay, well, my channel is Hood's Custom Shop. I do a lot of woodworking videos. Primarily, I try to inspire others to get out there and create things and show that you can do a lot of stuff with minimal tools. I know I kind of have an extensive bit of machinery and CNC router and stuff like that, but you know, I started off with just a little portable table saw and some hand tools, and I've kind of worked my way up, and now I've got me a sawmill here. I built this trailer myself. I've got some videos over there on that. This right here is a 2019 model HM130. It'll handle up to a 30-inch diameter log. The trailer itself is 30 feet long. It'll do a 27-foot long beam, and it'll cut a 22-inch wide board.
So you never know what's inside of a log until you cut it open. I mean, experience will give you clues, but it's still sometimes a surprise. And these logs were generously supplied by one of the hosts of the events, which is the Sawyer family. If you haven't seen their channel, check them out on YouTube as well. So this is what most people would call a manual mill, because it's not flipping the logs for you with hydraulic cylinders, and he has to push the actual cutting head down the log, but seems to do a heck of a job to me, and he worked through these logs really quickly. I watched him do the majority of the pile that's on that trailer throughout the day, and you know, part of that is just that you've got a guy who really knows what he's doing, but in general, I'm impressed with this type of mill. And one of my questions was, you know, how productive can you really be with this? Are you going to spend all day to cut up one log? Or, you know, can you, if you stay with it, can you really bust through them? And that's what it looks like to me. Obviously, you're going to have to stop and do some other maintenance and move logs and possibly change out a blade every so often, but he accomplished more in less time than I would have expected. I had a couple conversations with David throughout the day, and I was really impressed with the type of guy he is, and you know, his attitude of hard work and self-sufficiency, and you know, trying to stay debt-free. And I always appreciate trades and you know, people who do this type of work, because it seems like society is steering away from or looking down on people who make things for a living, and I think we need more of that. So I'm going to put a little bit more of our conversation here, and I apologize for the poor audio because there was a lot going on and people walking by. But here's the rest of our conversation before we sign off. So whenever I'm looking at the mills and trying to decide what to get, one big feature is the engine. So what engine did you say is on yours?
This one is the 14 horsepower Kohler.
Yeah, so that's not at the bottom level. So your entry level are like a 7 or a 9 horsepower.
Yeah.
And so you're halfway up the ladder there. But
Well,
you didn't go.
The 14 horse is the biggest engine that Woodland Mills offers.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now Woodmiser and other companies are going to have bigger engines. You can get all the way up to, I think it's a 3-cylinder Deutz. I think it is. I'm not 100% sure. But I mean, those are diesel.
Yeah, and that's a big price jump when you look at the diesel.
Yeah.
Another big price jump that seems worth it to me is getting the trailer built onto it, but that's where with a little bit of ingenuity you've saved yourself that money by building your own trailer setup.
Yeah,
Now,
if you want to do it as a business, if you want to make money milling, you can make some money with this mill, but this is primarily just an entry-level hobby mill is pretty much what it is. And I've tried to build it to the point where I can do long beams and stuff, because with a mill like this I have to be very specialized in order to try to make money. I can't compete with some big sawmill that's making 2x4s and stuff like that. There's just no way I can compete with them.
right. Somebody has to be looking for a quality of wood to begin with.
Yeah. So I have to deal in like hardwoods or beams for like post and beam buildings, stuff like that. Specialized stuff that you're not going to find at like Home Depot or Lowe's or something.
So do you mainly work it all the way down to this type of wood, or do you do a lot that has live edge left on it?
It's actually very nice.
I try to do a lot of live edge just because that market is actually, they pay a little more for live edge now.
Actually, we got these
but
at
I asked Jacob kind of what they wanted out of this, and he said, well, whatever you can get, like 1x and 2x.
So we got,
because that's the next thing. First, learn how to operate the machine, and then how do you turn your logs?
Yeah.
Do you just slice the whole thing like a loaf of bread, or do you square it like you did, rotate it, and square it?
It really depends on what you want, and kind of what I was doing while I was sitting here milling that was looking at my gauge and seeing how high I am off the bump.
All right, y'all are outside, just holler.
Gauge set up.
We'll hold it for you.
So I take off that first initial cut and see where I'm at right there, and usually I figure I'm going to need to take at least 2 inches off the other side, and I kind of see where I'm at there. If I'm a 4 or 5 inch or something, then I'm going to turn that pin and start cutting off the other 2 sides, and then work it down from there. If it's a much bigger log, I'll see if I can't get like 2 cants out of it. So maybe, if I get a big 12-inch cant, I'll cut that in half, and so I can get like 1x6s or 2x6s out of it.
And then you've got drying, so you've got a big stack of lumber somewhere, right?
Yes, I got a yard full of logs and lumber. I've got a 20-foot shipping container that I turned into a dehumidifier kiln. I painted it green so the heat from the sun would warm it up, and I just put a household dehumidifier.
So the next one, we got another one of these bags.
To
Lowe's gift card,
down,
I believe
so
it's
I don't
25
have,
on that, and
all that moisture in the air.
And so by doing that, you're reducing it from a year and a half to 6 months, or it's still that long?
It depends on the species of the wood. Like red cedar is relatively dry, and so it dries pretty quick. Now, you got species like oak, red oak, white oak. You pretty much, I think what you want to do with those, you don't want to dry them too fast, because you get that honeycomb and the splitting and checking all through the wood. A lot of people, what they'll do is they cover it and they let it sit outside and air dry, and what they do is drape burlap over it to kind of keep that air from flowing through there too fast and drying it too quick. There's some literature out there you can find on the internet, some books and stuff that kind of give you a process of drying and like what your relative humidity inside your kiln should be for a certain period of time at certain temperatures and whatnot.
So have you had much luck in finding customers for this type of product, or people who want logs cut up for them, or are you just mainly selling the products that you make?
Well, I started off doing a lot of storm damage cleanup. All the logs and stuff I have right now at the moment, besides what I've cut down on my own property, everything else is from windfall, from tornado damage and stuff. So I got my log arch trailer built. back in October of 2019, and I started doing tornado storm damage cleanup and taking those logs home, and then I started milling them up. Started making some lumber for myself, and it's starting to catch on where I got people coming out now. I advertise on Facebook every now and then, and you know, some people come out and buy some wood from me to do projects.
It's obvious watching you run at once that you've put quite a few hours on this, because you're not stopping and thinking before you put up your braces to secure the log and stuff like that. So he's got some great looking products over here. The next time he runs the mill, I'll catch a little bit more footage of that. It was nice to meet you. Everyone go over and check out Hood's Custom Shop, and hey, thanks for taking time to talk to me.
Thank you, Brock.